Hey guys, it's Lauren Yates from Rave It Up here, and today we're going to be chatting over Zoom with Australian performer Wayne Scott Kermond. Now, he has been in the industry for over 40 years, so he has so much wisdom to share with us, as well as so many incredible stories. Right now, he's in Spiegelesque at Parramatta Riverside from the 17th of June to the 26th of June, so make sure to get your tickets if you haven't already. But let's hear all about the show. Before we get into today's interview, we would like to give a shout out to our new Patreons, Irene and Bev. If you would like to support us too and receive free and behind the scenes stuff for as little as $4 a month, go check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Rave It Up. Your name could be up here too. Now let's get into the interview.
Hi, I'm Wayne Scott Kermond, and you are listening to Rave It Up with the fabulous Lauren Yates. So make sure you stick around. Don't just listen to me and Lauren. Check out all the other wonderful people that she's had on her program. You'll love it.
Wayne, welcome to Rave It Up. It is a pleasure to have you on the show today. How you going?
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for having me, Lauren.
You're very welcome. Thanks for taking the time. I know you're a busy man.
Well, yes. Fortunately, a little busier than we all were last year, so that's a good thing.
Exactly. We've got to be grateful for what we've got.
Absolutely.
Now, since this is your first time on the show, we'd actually love to get to know you a little bit better. And I thought starting from the beginning of your whole career and how you found your love for performing might be a good place to start. So you were born into a show business family, which is really, really cool. Your grandfather and his uncles were Tivoli performers, and then also his parents were also performers. So you're a fourth generation performer. Did they force you into it at all in the beginning, or did you just fall in love with it straight away because you grew up around it?
No, they didn't force me into it, but I guess being in a show business family, obviously I was very involved with barbecues where people are juggling, utensils or suddenly acrobating down the side drive, or other performers coming in and doing a time step or singing an aria. And I just figured that's just what everyone did. But particularly for my dad, yeah, he was, and my granddad and my great-grandfather, that was really, it was passed on, and it was considered that's what you're going to do. But no, fortunately, Mum and Dad gave me the opportunity to discover other opportunities, which I did. I still have a passion for flying and for aircraft.
Cool. That's different.
So yeah, and I actually I got an apprenticeship for Hawker de Havilland, which is here at Bankstown Airport in Sydney, as an aircraft engineer, and hopefully moving on to become a pilot. And but yeah, I was working with Mum and Dad on the Gold Coast when I was 16, and I was watching Mum and Dad on stage, and obviously other performers that were in the show as well, and a wonderful orchestra on stage. It was the New Grand Hotel at Labrador, and they were opening the venue. And I think, I know it's very, it's like an epiphany really, but I had the realization that, wow, actually my folks are actually making a living out of this.
Yeah.
It's not just what they do. It's not a job. It's obviously it's a way of life. It's a passion. It's a love, but they're actually also making a living. And so from that point, we came back to Sydney, and I cancelled my apprenticeship, went back to school, and then I got a job at the Theatre Royal in Sydney from a friend of ours named Ron Balcom, who his parents were a Slackwire act, and they were part of the Tivoli as well. So, and he was working backstage on a musical called They're Playing Our Song with Jackie Weaver and John Waters, and they needed a floor mech. And so my folks said, well, if you're going to learn theatre, you really should learn all aspects of the theatre.
All the ropes.
And so, yeah, I finished school Friday, started in the Theatre Royal here in Sydney Saturday morning. Sue Natras, beautiful Sue, sent me down to the pit to do all the soundproofing. And
Wow.
I worked in the theatre for about 20 months as a floor mech and a flyman and props master with a wonderful play called The Dresser with Gordon Chater, Ruth Cracknell and Warren Mitchell. And I was 16 at the time. And yeah, I was given a lot of responsibility, but the wonderful thing was I got to watch. I got to stand in the wings and watch such wonderful performers like Nancy Hayes Geraldine Turner when they were doing Chicago, the Sydney Theatre Company version, a long time ago now. But
The love just
yeah,
took
that certainly gave me
over.
the bug.
That's
Yeah, and
beautiful. So there's no regrets that you didn't, continue
no,
the
no.
airline business.
Well, yeah, I think, well, as I mentioned earlier, we're all suffering at the moment. But I think from, watching, it was actually Chicago that Ravina Beard and Dolores Dunbar said there's an audition for a show coming up, which Ravina was working on, called Barnum. And they said, you should audition for the role of Tom Thumb, even just, ensemble. So I did. I went down to the Old Capitol Theatre, and 9 auditions later, John Robbo rang my folks and said, we'd like to offer Wayne the role of Tom Thumb. And I was 17, and the rest is history.
And I heard at 11 as well, you got cast as the tap dancing sailor in Gypsy as well. 11's
That's
really,
right.
really young, I don't know how you did it.
Well, I actually went to the audition with my cousin, and Betty Pounder was taking the audition, and she realised, she said, you're a Kermond, don't you? And I said, yeah. She said, well, I know your family very well, so obviously you could do a time step. So she dragged me on stage, did a time step, and said, I think we'll need you in the show. So, yeah, I ended up playing alongside Tony Lamond and Gloria Dawn, playing a tap dancing sailor for 4.5 months at the
I'm guessing that was your first time on stage too, right? So how did you get over those nerves of being in front of an audience, and how do you still get over those nerves?
Well, it was it wasn't my first time on stage, but it was my first time in a musical on stage in a musical theatre piece. So, look, I think when you're 11, it's just all fun and fantasy, and you just roll with it. It was just like, wow, I get to wear costumes, but I had an understanding of it because I'd been working and performing with mum and dad. I would only ever come on the finale and bits and pieces like that, and maybe do a handspring or a time step and do a couple of tricks. But doing Gypsy was certainly, I guess, it really opened my eyes up to music theatre, because I particularly remember standing behind the house curtain, and Donna Lee was playing my mum in the opening. And I don't know if anyone's heard the overture to Gypsy, but it's probably one of the most beautiful and wonderful overtures of any musical theatre piece. Obviously, West Side Story is quite prominent as well, the prologue. But I remember standing there as a kid and just hearing the orchestra in the pit and just going, wow, this is just fantastic. And they're paying me $43 a week. What more could I want?
Exactly, at 11. What a dream.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And do you still get nervous even now on stage, or is it kind of more just an adrenaline rush?
A bit of both, Lauren. A bit of both. I think the nerves are a good thing. I think particularly when you're obviously opening night and previews and leading up, you do. But I think that you just got to turn the nerves into a positive. I think it keeps you on edge. It keeps you assertive. It just keeps you in the moment. And but on the other hand, you've also got to you've got to make sure you keep control of the nerves, because you don't want to get the Elvis League and all of that happening and suddenly losing, control and letting the nerves grab you. And I'm finding as I get older, auditioning, I find that a little bit tougher now than performing, I guess, because, no, this is not ego intended, but it's nice when I get offered roles, but I'm not auditioning as much. But when I do audition, I'm a nervous wreck. I'm actually quite hopeless at the moment.
You just really got to prove
It's
yourself.
really weird.
I can understand. It's so hard.
Yeah, it is. So I think that's where the nerves on stage, I have pretty good control of that. And I think when you're playing characters, and particularly doing cabaret and so forth, it's something that I really enjoy. And I enjoy that living on the edge a little bit, which happens, every time you walk on stage. You really are you're exposing yourself and to an audience, and I think that's the adrenaline rush. That's where you do it, isn't it?
Yeah. And I had a previous guest on before, and I remember it was a while ago, but I still remember it because it was just so prominent what he said about nerves. If you don't have nerves, it kind of means you don't really care about it anymore. You want to put that effort in every single performance and make it even better than the last.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. I mean, that's where the nerves, and, just turn them into a positive, and use them. It keeps you alert, and that's it. That's a good thing.
Something to think about next time you're feeling a little bit nervous. It's like, oh yeah,
exactly.
I care about it. That's what Lauren said.
Yes, exactly. I will. Thank you, Lauren.
That's okay. I'm here. Now, is there any regrets that you didn't go down more of that airline path? Because, you know, a lot of people, when they get into this sort of industry, they feel like they need a bit of a plan B. You know what I mean? You know, as they call it, a plan B, just in case it doesn't work out. So has there ever been any other plan Bs for you, you know, starting out? Did you get into, you know, being a waiter or a bartender, or, you know, there's always some weird stories that we just don't know about.
Yeah. I mean, particularly when I was working backstage and in my early career, look, I was very fortunate because, you know, the 80s and the 90s were a great time for music theatre, and, you know, there was a lot going on. It's so I've been very, very, you know, lucky, because I guess probably the best thing I can offer to any young performer coming into the industry is versatility. And, you know, if you keep your options open and don't be frightened to do and try everything, you know what I mean? It's only going to enhance and help you as an all-round performer. So, but getting back to your question, I sold land crabs once. That was really interesting. At the Royal Easter Show. Yes. And so I had to demonstrate these land crabs, and I had to put them on my arm. And I remember one time I had this lovely lady and her very young daughter wanting to buy them as pets, you know, these land crabs. And I'm going, oh, yes, they're very tame. They're fantastic. Yeah, look, I'll just put one on my arm. Anyway, the damn thing got its claws and went straight into my wrist. And as you know, that's kind of pretty, you know, there's not much skin going on there. So I'm sort of going, yes, they're absolutely all harmless, and they're wonderful pets to have, and trying to do the big sell while this damn land crab is like grabbing right at my arm, and the pain.
Like, just do it any other time, but just not in the sale.
Exactly. So that's probably one of the most bizarre other gigs I think I remember doing in my early days. Yeah. But look, you know, I
don't need to do it anymore.
No, fortunately, and I don't think you could probably do that and sell land crabs anymore. But yeah. But we all, you know, you got to have something to talk about, put in your book, haven't you?
Exactly. Something to share in the interviews.
Exactly.
And even what you said before about kind of doing a little bit of everything, you're just a pure example of that, because you sing, you dance, you tap dance. I'm just going to put that a little on the side of dancing. You do acrobatics, slapstick comedy. Like, what can't you do? Is that kind of advice that you'd give to people kind of wanting to get into the industry, to kind of do it all? Because there's so many people that just want to stick with singing or just stick with dancing, but especially musical theatre, you kind of need to do both and combine them.
Yeah, well, I think you know, triple threat is certainly coming back.
Yes.
I don't think it's there's any harm, and I think the more skills, you know, being a musician as well is only going to enhance your vocal ability. And obviously, as a dancer, you know, you have a bit of classical that's only just going to help with your technique, and obviously, but I think if you open yourself up to learning as much as you can in the business, and you know, even just, you know, cracking a whip or something, but you'll find a lot of that. I've sort of acquired, like Barnum, for instance, my first sort of Australian touring show is obviously based on the circus and P.T. Barnum's life. So obviously, you know, I was taught how to do the teeter board and whip cracking and trapeze. So things like that was great, and you know, they're paying you for it. So I think probably the most important thing is when you go to an audition, if someone says, "Hey, can you juggle?" Yeah, absolutely, and then just go in quickly. Yeah, and then come back the next day and just look at me, you know. So
that's what makes the job really fun and interesting. You're always learning something new.
Exactly. I think you know, you never stop learning in this business, and you never stop meeting interesting and wonderful and watching great artists. And I think that that's a great thing about our industry is, you know, we're like a sponge, and I think you just got to keep absorbing, you know, information and just keep learning skills, because they will come, you know, in hand. They will come in handy one day.
Yeah,
I promise you.
And those new people coming in the industry, you know, I always hear as well, they've got to remember to, if, you know, say in an audition, if, you
Yeah,
know, someone says no and rejects you, don't take it personally. It could be just, you know, they have a specific person they got to find. It could just be that you're 1 centimeter too short or you've got the wrong hair color. A lot of people
totally.
take it so personally and, you know, get really depressed about it.
You're absolutely right, Lauren. And you know, and I look, it's a difficult industry, and I know a lot of people will say to you, particularly people not involved in the industry, like, you know, how do you deal with the rejection, and how do you deal with the insecurity of the business and not knowing when your next gig is? And
Mm,
but that's the challenge, and you know, you do it because it's more than just getting paid each week. There's a passion and a love for it. But yes, you do have to train yourself to get used to the knockbacks. But as you say, Lauren, don't take it personally. You know, you just got to remind yourself and say, well, obviously, you know, they're missing out on me.
yeah,
So
the right job will
and
come.
exactly, and you do a great audition. The director, choreographer, casting director might you know, have you in mind for something else that comes along.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you know, exactly. So just putting yourself out there is the most important thing. And I think when younger, particularly, and this is going back to what I was saying earlier about auditioning, you have no fear, and I think that's a good thing. So don't be frightened to just you know, to throw yourself in the deep end and go for it in auditions. But also don't take the rejection personally, because if anything, turn it into a positive and just go out there and work a little bit harder, and you'll get the
Mm,
gig. You just got to hang in there. That's the most
yeah.
important thing.
The right ones will come, as you've
Yeah,
shown, you know, great opportunities always
absolutely.
come your way, which is
Yeah,
fantastic. Um,
exactly.
Now I know that, you know, I do have to bring this up. You know, I think we're all sick of talking about COVID, but I want to
Yeah,
bring it around to a more, you know, positive and a helpful way for our audience because, you know, we're all affected by COVID, obviously, and
yeah.
lockdowns, a lot of people losing their jobs. And entertainment was especially hit hard because you weren't allowed to do your performances live and
That's
tour
right.
around the world. So I really want to know, how did you get through COVID, especially mental health wise?
I think projects. Fortunately, I
Keeping
have a
busy.
yeah, around the house. You know, things that we say we're going to do and we never
Oh,
do them.
yes. The long,
So
long list that everybody has.
exactly. So that's exactly what Katie, my wife, and I did. We just wrote a list down. Obviously, for everybody, it was that first sort of 2 3 months where it was a kind of a bit of a shock and just going, okay, this is weird. But
It's nice to
on
take
the
a
other
break after
hand,
so long, but want to get back
yeah,
to it.
exactly. And I think, you know, it is for us at times, you know, you will have a week off here or a month off here
Mm,
between gigs or something. So you I think because we've, you know, been in the industry a while, um, I didn't sort of phase me too much. But as time went on, yes, it did. And that's when I think we basically just went, I took on just projects and made myself busy, and did some building things around the house, and particularly just kept honing my skills as a performer, and
yeah.
also started writing. That was a
Yeah. Were you
really
writing on like new material for yourself, creating projects
that's right,
in the
and
actual
just
industry, not just around the
yeah,
house?
and just and yeah, starting on a project of writing, which I haven't sort of really got into, but I really started to enjoy it and just sit down and say, hey, what's it like to write a sitcom? So
Ooh.
I sat down and started writing one, and
Okay. I'm excited. Hopefully that's a
yeah,
future thing. Yeah.
which was great. So I had a bit of help from Katie and from another friend of ours, and yeah, so we had a lot of Zoom meetings and just threw some ideas and just based it on experience that Katie and I have had with the business and so forth, and then said just write what we know. So that's what we started doing, and
Is that like in the
yeah,
pipeline to
that was
actually
great.
be released or just
Well,
written just for fun?
there is a plan. I mean, I don't want to give too much
Oh,
away,
okay.
but yeah, but it was very therapeutic, and it was great doing the Zoom thing. But I'm sure after a while, everybody kind of got a bit sick of Zoom.
Yes.
Um,
We say
so
as we're on Zoom right now.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's actually been a long time since I've been on Zoom,
Okay, so
which
that's
is
good.
great. But
But I
the great
mean,
thing about Zoom is that it allowed all of us to connect and realize that we're all going through the same journey. So, Zoom was certainly a really important tool last year. But yeah, I think last year it was just taking on projects and really keeping busy. But it was a weird time. It was really weird. And I know Katie and I really felt for the younger generation, particularly. The industry is tough enough, but to sort of have this curveball thrown at at everybody, society, has been really, really, really weird. And yeah, it's I can't explain it. I mean, unfortunately, we're kind of still going through it, but I'm hoping that
at least we got some shows back.
Exactly, we're starting to get back in, and shows are happening, and we're very fortunate in Australia. That's where our isolation has been a positive thing, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I got to say, coming out of it too, us in entertainment are so much more grateful for what we've got. Now when you go on stage, I'm sure you're like, I'm going to just bask in every moment.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. I think the last gig I did last year was February 29th, and that was with Spiegelesque at the Joan Sutherland Theatre. And 2 weeks later, obviously, we all got over that weekend that it was all going haywire. And I didn't walk on stage again until October. And again, it had to be in an environment. I was just doing my cabaret show with a trio, and when I did the opening number and then I welcomed the audience, I started getting quite emotional and a little bit welled up when I was talking. And obviously, we didn't have a full house because I think we could only have 50% at the time. So I think in a 400-seater house, I think we had about 130 people, but they were very appreciative to be there, as I was to be on stage with live musicians. But yeah, it was quite emotional. I don't think you realise how special and what we do until it's taken away from you, and then when you walk back on stage. And I'm sure that's been the same for all the entertainers, whether it be and musicians and production people, that just walking back into a live venue is it was quite emotional, which I think is probably empowering, because it just makes you inspire more to to get back on, get the wheels turning again.
Yeah, way better than staying at home.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we're a bit sick of that, aren't we?
Yes, want to get out.
Exactly.
Well, you got to keep us up to date with that. You got to keep us up to date with that sitcom, though. Maybe you can come back on the show when we finally know about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to talk to you about it.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I mean, you hear of projects like this, and they can take sometimes 5-10 years. But we were working on it prior to.
I'll still be here with Rave It Up, so if it takes 10 years.
Yeah, but COVID was a good accelerator, so that was the positive side of COVID, where we ended up sort of really having the time to really dedicate to writing and coming up with ideas, and putting pen to paper, which was fun.
Good job. I'm impressed. I'm also so amazed by this next thing I'm going to bring up, because so incredible that I've never actually interviewed anyone that's done this before. So I had to bring it up. You are a principal motion capture performer for the animated films Happy Feet and Happy Feet 2. I really want to know, how was that experience for you? Is it really uncomfortable wearing those suits?
Yeah, it was. Well, no, it actually wasn't, because we wore a full body unitard, and when you get to work with George Miller, you'll wear anything.
Yeah, with that opportunity.
So, exactly. So there was a cast of sort of 6-7 of us who were principal cast members, who did all the physicality of the principal roles in Happy Feet 1 and 2. So fortunately, after doing the first one, but it was really interesting, Lauren, because the technology from the time we started shooting the film to even to the end of the film had changed and grown so much.
Wow.
So we worked over a period of like 3 years to do Happy Feet 1, and then going to Happy Feet 2, obviously the technology, CGI and all that even had improved again. So I think I started working on it in about 2006, 2005. And then Happy Feet 2, I think, was released in 2011. So that's about 7 years all up. Yeah. So on and off at that time, technology had changed a lot. But yeah, running around all of us in black unitards with dots all over us was certainly an experience. And
Did you get to
but
make up your own moves, or do they tell you what to do? You obviously have to walk like a penguin, but
yeah, obviously we had to learn how to mimic, and they wanted to get the legitimacy of walking like penguins. Obviously, when we all started tap dancing and dancing, we sort of but we still had to keep that feel of being penguins, and which was really fun and interesting.
Sure.
But we were working on a sound stage. It was probably about the size of a basketball field, probably a bit bigger actually.
Wow,
and
that's huge.
and lots of cameras above us. But the technology was quite amazing. But look, working with George Miller and all the team, and I think on the first film there was 1,001 people working on the movie.
Whoa.
It was pretty innovative, and it was really amazing to be a part of. And yeah, and to think, it won Academy Award, and I got the opportunity to, as quite a few people in the film did, to hold on to it and hold the Academy Award. So yeah, very, very fortunate.
Did you end up watching the movies yourself and be like, "Ooh, that was me"?
Yeah, well, we were all invited to the preview. They hired a cinema at Moore Park at the showgrounds there, and they brought who I think might have been Robin Williams came out, and with George, and announced the movie, and we, as all crew and cast and everybody involved, and we all sat down and watched it, which was really cool. And
Wow.
yeah, you go, oh, I remember doing that scene, and yeah, it was fantastic. But George was great to work with because he allowed us to put in input as well. So, particularly myself, if I had some comedy ideas or a line or whatever, George would take it on board and then, yeah, get it, yeah, we'll put that in, we'll do that. So it was an amazing experience, and something that, yeah, I really enjoyed and treasure. But very different to theatre. Very different.
I know, I've never interviewed anybody that's done that before, so I'm like, ooh, got to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, it's fortunate. I mean, I've done some quite a few telemovies and stuff as an actor, but to actually be, pretending that you're a penguin,
bit different.
in a motion capture, yeah, it was certainly unique, and a lot of fun, a lot of hard work, but a lot of fun.
You can tick it off the bucket list now.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't. I don't know if that one was on the bucket list, but it certainly ticked. I can tell you that.
Yes, it's one of those things that you're like, I never thought about doing it, but I've done it. That's really cool.
Exactly. But again, working with George Miller was,
dream come true.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
So you've been performing for over 40 years now, and some of the other shows, in case, people don't know, you've been in like West Side Story, A Chorus Line, Singing in the Rain, The Producers, Anything Goes, and Hairspray. That's really cool. So there's so many amazing musicals, and, you're always on stage, which, must really help with the question I'm about to ask. But with performing and having to dance as well as sing sometimes at the same time, and just moving around in general, how are you keeping in shape as you do get older, and kind of keeping up with, the youth that are coming in and all the new competition?
Yeah. Well, I think obviously I'm getting the more mature roles, which is great, and I'm really enjoying that. Regarding fitness, I swim a lot. Swimming's my thing, ocean swimming. And I really find that I really discovered that sort of 20 years ago when I was cast for Singing in the Rain to play Cosmo Brown. And obviously my acrobatics and my tap dancing was a huge asset. But David Atkins, who directed and choreographed the show, wanted to go very much down the original movie feel. So Make 'Em Laugh, which is the big, the comedy slapstick routine that my character does. David spoke to me about it and said, well, and I said the same thing. I said, if you're going to do that routine, you have to do the run up the wall at the end. I mean, the audience is waiting for it. So it'd be a bit like doing Singing in the Rain without the rain. So, so I just basically just went, okay, I've really 3 months out when he cast me and we sat down and had a chat. I just, I kind of just went into a fitness regime. Sorry, that was my phone.
That's all right. Popular.
And so I just went into a fitness regime. So I just started jogging on the beach, and I've always loved swimming in the ocean anyway. So I thought I'm just going to get into swimming a lot more. And I've just found swimming is just great for your breathing.
Mm.
And
Which
and
is something you need to do while you're singing and you're dancing.
exactly. And so I haven't stopped. And it's interesting because this month, or May, just gone, 20 years ago is when we opened Singing in the Rain. So
Wow.
that time's been, that time's gone quick. But I think for me particularly, I think it's really important, even just walking. And obviously last year with COVID, and people did a lot of walking, taking on a lot of activities and stuff. But I find for me just to keep fit, and because this, my body's my instrument, and if it's not working at 110%, then I'm not working. So it's really important to take care of your instrument. And but I find I really love swimming. I find it's my zen. In the water, and I swim through winter as well. So
Wow, that
yeah,
must be cold.
yeah. Well, you see, people in Europe, and particularly in Norway and parts of the Norwegian countries, and they get in rivers of ice and stuff like that. So I figure, it's still quite warm down here, so I can put up with it.
Cold therapy.
Yes.
Well, keep it up. You're doing a great job. You look still so young. So, there's still so many decades left of performing for you. I hope. Fingers crossed.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I'm planning to stick around for a while and annoy a few people.
Good, because you're just amazing to watch. I watched a few YouTube videos of you. I haven't seen you live yet, but with the project I'm about to bring up, I will be. So
wonderful.
Your most recent project, and I'm hoping I am pronouncing this correctly, Spiegelesque. Did I pronounce that right?
You did, Lauren. Well done.
Yes. All right. He's like, German. I'm like, okay, got to embrace that inner German. So for everybody that, might not know about it, maybe don't have tickets yet, it's like a combination of cabaret, circus, some burlesque and comedy, and it will be at Parramatta Riverside from the 17th of June to the 26th. So go buy your tickets now, guys. And I'm personally so excited about it. And I'll be there on the evening show of the 18th, just to let you know. So I'll be in the crowd.
Oh, beautiful, Lauren.
Can you please...
So
you're going to chuck me on stage, are you? Oh.
No, I would never do that.
No, I don't mind. Let's have a laugh. Can you please tell us about what we can expect from the show? I guess without ruining it, of course.
Oh, look, I think you hit the nail on the head with your wonderful summary just then. It is it's a cabaret show, and going back to the roots of my heritage and my family of that vaudeville style of comedy, the physical comedy, but also just that variety of variety theatre. So you've got, side acts, you've got the comedy, you've got the dancing, you've got the singing, all basically thrown into one melting pot, and you've got Spiegelesque. And it's a very, there's nothing to, it's a show where you don't have to think too hard. It's just all there for you. But it's also a show where we as the cast and the audience go on a journey together. And my character that I play, the MC, is a bit of an alter ego, I guess, Wayne. And he basically just comes out and just sets the tone and says, let's go. We're going to be naughty. We're going to have fun. And here we go. And we go on a ride together, which I really enjoy. And for me, and I guess going back to my cabaret roots and my variety roots, I break that fourth wall, and there's a lot of interaction with the audience, particularly with myself, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that off the cuff, and and getting to know the crowd, and because I think Australians love, seeing their friends having the mickey taken out of them, as long as it's not them.
Yes, it's like you being a clown, pretty much.
Well, it is. It's absolutely. I love clowning and love the physical comedy, and I've always been inspired, obviously, by Donald O'Connor and Buster Keaton and all of those wonderful, the Marx Brothers. I mean, the list goes on. But so what we've done is just basically put the old style and just served it on a new plate.
Yeah.
And
is it kind of told like a story, or is it just a mixture of like really cool acts one after the other?
Well, it's very different from what people would see in the sense of having acts. We have a very a very thin through line, but it's probably driven more by song and dance and comedy. And obviously we've got some circus in there as well. But yeah, it's not a show where you're going to see act, 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 act,
It
and
flows.
me sort of linking it. Yeah, there's you get to know the characters, we get to know the audience, and we take you on a pure journey of pure entertainment. And people come out of the show and it's just fun. It's just a lot of fun,
Which
and
is what
you
we
have a great
need after the
laugh.
year we had last year.
Absolutely, it really is. It's just about having it's not having to think too much and just having a laugh and having a sing along
I'm so
and
excited.
be just pure entertainment.
And is this your baby or is it someone else's baby?
No, well, it's actually it's evolved. I first worked at a Spiegel tent in I did Smoke and Mirrors back in 2011 with IOTA, and worked in a beautiful. I think it's called the something Spiegel tent, the original Spiegel tent, I think, in Hyde Park in Sydney for the Sydney Festival, and then we went and did the Edinburgh Festival and went to New Zealand, did their festival, and I just fell in love with being in the tent. Then I was offered. To MC a show in Melbourne in a smaller Spiegel tent called a Spiegelzelt, which is a mirror tent. And she was originally from Belgium, and she was like 95 years old, this tent.
Wow.
And it was just, as soon as you walk in, you just walk into another world. And she just created this beautiful atmosphere and environment. And suddenly you just absolutely transferred back to an era. And that's what we have tried to do with Spiegelesque, is take people back to a time with a contemporary feel. So even though we're in Parramatta and we're in the black box in the Lennox Theatre, but we've made sure that it feels like you're in a Spiegel tent. We made sure it feels like you're in another world, and that's exactly what the show does, and we try to do, and take everybody on a bit of a journey.
I'm sure everybody in that show is incredibly talented.
Yeah, it's a great cast. Our son Alexander. He's in the cast as well. He plays like a song and dance man.
Another generation performer. Oh my goodness, how far down
Right.
you can go.
He's fifth generation, so yeah, he'll have a great life and be poor like me. But no.
But he's grown up around it, just like you.
He has. He's grown up with it. But again, he's made that choice to be in the business as I did. And I think when you come into the industry and you make that choice for yourself, you're doing it for your reasons, not for anyone else's. And that's been really, really, really important for Katie and I, to make sure that Zan has made that choice to be in the business, because he certainly didn't come into it with rose-coloured glasses. He saw the nuts and bolts of how difficult it can be, and also just producing your own work, which is what Katie and I have been doing for the past 25 years with our own show Candyman, which we toured Australia with as well, which was basically a song and dance show celebrating Sammy Davis Jr. So yeah, it has its ups and downs. It's tough, and Katie and I are producing this show, but we have a great cast. We have a lot of fun on stage as much we do backstage, and that's really important as well. But I think, we did the show in 2019 at Glen Street for about 4 months in their cabaret room, and also in 2018. And we've taken it to a few festivals in Queensland. So the audience really, I think, just loved the lunacy of the show. But it's also very stylish, and it's also a lot of fun.
Definitely. Are you the director as well, or just the producer?
No. Katie's our director and choreographer. And
wow, that must be really weird for your son to be directed by his mom and produced by his dad. How is that to be like whole working as a family? Is it nice, or you kind of sick of each other all by the end of the day?
No, I think we all really respect each other, and obviously have your moments. There's no denying, but we make sure we wear our hats of titles that we're doing in the show. And if Katie's directing, and I might have a suggestion, but I'll always pass it to Katie, and then she can pass it on to the cast. But it's important, I think, with particularly live entertainment, that you need a set of eyes out front. For me to direct it or whatever wouldn't be mind you, I just directed We'll Rock You for Packerman earlier this year, and that's the first time I've directed a musical in the sense of and being in it. I hadn't done that before. I've directed musical theatre, but I haven't been in it. But to have played a role and also to have directed it. But fortunately, Katie was choreographing, so she was also directing with me, which was great. So yeah, it's
a bit too much work to be in it and directing.
Exactly. There's certainly, I admire anyone that does it. It's certainly a skill. But fortunately, I've got Katie there, who's got a great set of eyes. And but getting back to your question with our son, yeah, look, we're very, very aware of the fact that he's got his mum and dad, but he loves working with us, and we love working with him.
That's
and,
good.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We're very lucky.
An only child?
Yes, he's our only child.
So it's kind of like the Three Musketeers. That's how I am with my parents.
Yeah, it's really lovely. And getting back to Singing in the Rain, he was cast in the show as a young Cosmo when I think he was 8 years of age, 9.
Aww.
So he toured all over Australia with us, and he toured Asia, and Katie was in the show as well. So thanks to David Atkins, he kept us together as a family, and we got to travel together, and we had the most wonderful time.
Free holidays.
Yeah. And I think for him, growing up in the business, he learnt a lot, again, just from watching. But it was wonderful because the cast just saw Zan as a bit of a mascot, and they all just treated him with respect and loved him, and he became one of their own, really.
Really following in Dad's footsteps, I see.
Yeah. We're kind of hoping you get into golf or tennis. There's more money in it. But anyway, that shows you.
Already are the sports, really. Now, what's for you after Spiegelesque? Are you wanting to write more, create more, or is it going to be this sitcom next that we can really look forward to?
Well, Spiegelesque, I think, is still in her early days in the sense of we're wanting it to take it touring next year around regional Australia.
Ooh,
so
great.
That's the plan. Yeah, so we've really sort of built the show production-wise for this production in Parramatta. So we're really putting together a good template for a touring production for next year. But yeah, for me personally, I'm actually doing Wicked for Packerman in July, August, and I'm playing the Wizard, which is fantastic.
Big role.
And then yeah, but I'm really sort of pursuing, Lauren, more my cabaret side of things. I'm thoroughly enjoying that in this part of my life, and I'm really enjoying having the being able to really converse with an audience, and I really love that interaction. So yeah, look, music theatre, I certainly wouldn't say no to it, but I'm not really chasing it. I'm really enjoying the cabaret side of things at the moment.
Yeah. Well, keep going. I'm going to keep an eye on your, or everything you're going to do in the future.
No, thank you, Lauren. Thank you so much. And
all right,
thank you.
You got a cheerleader here and a fan.
Oh, that's wonderful. We can't do it without you guys, and we all need to support each other.
Absolutely.
And thank you for supporting not only me but our show and everybody in the industry. It's wonderful to spread the word. That's without an audience we don't eat.
That's pretty true.
Yeah.
But you are welcome. I'm always here for you, so keep in contact.
I will. Thank you, Lauren.
That's all right. Now, Wayne, I think it's time for a game. What do you think?
A game? All right.
Yes.
If you're game.
Yes, I'm definitely game. So I like the spin on words there. No one's ever done that before. That? Thinking on your feet. I love it. We have a legendary game here on Rave It Up. It's called the 2-minute hot seat. So it's really easy. Right, okay. All I do is ask you questions, and you have to pick your preference. So it's like singing or dancing, dogs or cats. And
right, we can do that.
So you know the answers because it's all about you.
Oh, good. Okay.
And there's a bit of a competitive element because there is a leaderboard with everyone that's played the game on the show. So when we finish, we can see how many questions you answered in the 2 minutes and see where you sit on the leaderboard.
Okay.
Yes?
Wow. Pressure.
No pressure. No pressure at all.
Right. Beautiful.
It's just a great way for the fans to get to know you and what you like, and,
Sounds great.
It's just fun for the guest to have a bit of competitive element too. All right. Stopwatch out. That's important. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready when you are, Lauren. Let's go.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
Apple or Samsung?
Apple.
Oh, rap or rock?
Oh, rap.
Rock or pop?
Oh, no, rock.
Pop or country?
Pop.
iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Beach or pool?
Beach.
Skiing or snowboarding?
Skiing.
Comedy or action?
Comedy.
Blondes or brunettes?
Both.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Sunglasses or hat?
Hat.
SUV or convertible?
Convertible.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
PlayStation or Wii?
PlayStation.
Singing or dancing?
Both.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Italian or Chinese food?
Italian.
Kim Kardashian or Scarlett Johansson?
Scarlett Johansson.
Johnny Depp or Will Smith?
Johnny. That's a good one. Will Smith. I'll say.
Mall or online shopping?
No, not online shopping. No.
Cinema or home movie?
Cinema.
Ice cream or gelato?
Gelato.
Cake or cookies?
Cake.
Cookies or cookie dough?
Cookies.
Family or friends?
Family.
Football or soccer?
Soccer.
Christmas or your birthday?
Christmas.
Night or day?
Night.
Bus or train?
Train.
Straight or curly hair?
Curly.
Eye color blue or brown?
Blue.
Vampire or werewolf?
Or werewolf.
Texting or calling?
Calling.
Sydney or Melbourne?
Sydney.
Friday or Saturday?
Friday.
TV or movies?
Movies.
Starbucks or Gloria Jeans?
Gloria Jeans.
Snow or surf?
Surf.
Harry Potter or Twilight?
Twilight.
And we're out of time. I gave you about 2
Off we
minutes
go.
15 because it was over Zoom, so there's a little bit of a delay, you know? How many questions do you think you answered in that time?
Oh, I'll just say a wild guess. 25.
Oh, a lot more than that.
35.
You have answered 40 questions, believe it or
Wow.
not. And you are sitting, let me look at the leaderboard. You are sitting number 47 on the Rave It Up leaderboard. There's 121 people that have played this, so that's really good.
Who's got the, how many questions is number one? In 2 minutes?
101, believe it or not.
101.
I have a feeling because it was her second time on the show, and
Right.
I gave her a mixed version of the list so she couldn't, know what was coming. But I think she just wasn't giving her honest answers. It was just like, just answer as quick as I can.
Right, throwing them out there.
Where with
Well,
you, I could see that you gave honest answers, and I'm sorry for getting you to choose between singing or dancing. I kind of knew that you're probably going to say both.
Yeah.
Bit
That's
too hard to choose one.
It is hard. It is hard to choose. It is
Yeah.
hard to choose. Both sides have given me a wonderful career.
It sure has. That was fun, right? I love that game.
Great line. Yeah, thank you. No, that's
You're
I
welcome.
think that's the first time I've ever done a game, played a game like that in an interview. Yeah.
You'll always remember Rave It Up then.
Yeah, I absolutely.
Yeah.
I will spread the word about Rave It Up.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, we've been around this is the 11th year, and I've had that game for so long. That's why, 121 people have played it. But I hadn't played it for so long. So all the fans were requesting it back. So that was my big, New Year's resolution thing. I was like, I gotta bring it back for all the fans.
Well, I'll have to train hard next time to get up to 101 questions.
Yes,
I will.
and next time we'll do it in person. So, you can
Right.
go even quicker.
Sounds good. I'll swim a few more laps. That'll help.
Yes, get the breathing right.
Absolutely. I will.
Well, we are unfortunately getting to the end of the interview, Wade. It's gone so fast and I've had so much fun. But as
Thank
a
you.
closing statement, and what's probably the most important question, knowing what you know now, what would you tell your 14-year-old self?
My 14-year-old self. Wow. I think knowing what I know now is enjoy every moment and appreciate the simple things.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's really good for all the young listeners to remember as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Just live for every moment and every day. And
Absolutely.
the old saying, isn't it? The simple things in life are free, and it's true.
Oh, yeah.
I think just don't complicate your life. Keep it simple, and and don't get stressed.
Like when we're all stuck at home, we were stuck with our families and our loved ones, which was fantastic. And thanks to Zoom, we could keep in touch with the people that we couldn't be with.
Absolutely. So, we live in a wonderful age of technology, and but it's just, life is about balance, and I think you've just got to make sure you keep that balance. That's really, really important.
Take care of yourself and keep those relationships thriving. That's a good
Absolutely. Don't be frightened just to ask if you need help. That's the most important thing.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm so glad you said that, actually. I hope everyone remembers that. And before we go, if our listeners would like to contact you or find out what you're up to, where should they go?
Yep. Oh, well, I've got a website. They can go to waynescottkermond.com.au. We also have the Kermond Creative website. Obviously, there's my Facebook page and my Instagram page. I don't do the Twitter thing.
I don't do that anymore either. I was like, this is annoying.
Probably, look, if you go onto social media and my website, but look, you can type anyone's name in Google and you'll certainly find.
How do you think I did all my research on you? A Google search.
Exactly. It's quite an amazing tool to use. So, look, if you want to know what I'm up to, just type in my name, and there's plenty of stuff there that you can see, even me running up a wall, I think.
Oh, cool. We'll have to look that up. And thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me today, Wayne. I really appreciate it.
No, it's a pleasure, Lauren. And I think the sun's gone down as we've had this wonderful interview.
Thank goodness that you put the light on in the background there.
Yes, exactly. That's my little follow spot right there.
Yeah. But you gave so much amazing advice today, so I'm really hoping the listeners take everything on board.
Oh, look, it's everyone's got their own journey in life, and you just got to enjoy it. That's the most important thing. Because
I love interviewing people that have been in the industry for decades, because you got so much wisdom to share.
Thank you, Lauren. Yeah, look, I'm just very, very fortunate. I've been very, very lucky, and there's so much talent in this country. There's so much talent throughout the world, but particularly, and I'm very proud to be an Aussie, and I'm very proud of the talent that we have in this country, and particularly the younger talent coming on in this country. And I get the great opportunity of working with so many young people, and I thoroughly enjoy it because I really, really love watching them, and also because I'm learning from them. I'd hate to be auditioning against them now because they're a lot more skilled than I ever was at that age, and I really admire the young talent in this country, and I think the most important thing is just hang in there, don't give up, just hang in there.
Definitely. Well, let's definitely get you on the show again in the future, okay? So let's keep in touch. Hopefully next time we can do it in person, because you're in Sydney too, aren't you?
I am, yeah, Sydney-based, born and bred, yeah.
Yeah, so
but
we're local.
Yep, but putting nothing behind, love Melbourne, lived and worked down there many times, and Brizzy and Adelaide and Perth, and all the great, Hobart. We're very, very fortunate to live in a great country. So,
But Sydney is your home, so keep in touch with me.
I love the beach too much. That's my problem.
So you must live very close to the beach then, I'm guessing.
I do, yeah. Live very close to the beach, and it's good for my head.
I'm a bit jealous. I'm like 45 minutes to an hour away from the closest beach, so
that's pretty good because it's a lot closer than Alice Springs. Look at it that way.
Yes, it's too hot there. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed today's interview. If you'd like to check out any of our other interviews, visit our website, raveituptv.com. And remember, our podcast is now up on all podcasting platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of them. Just type in Rave It Up. And if you haven't gotten our book, Knowing What I Know Now yet, please do so. It is available as a paperback and ebook version, and will be available as an audiobook very soon. Very exciting. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.